Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Business Acceleration Podcast. If we haven't met yet, g'day, my name is Dr. Brooklyn Storme. I've been a psychologist for 20 years, worked in mental health for over 25, and I'm now a coach to people who are health practitioners, health professionals, coaches, and are starting their own business or private practice. And I love integrating spirituality with private practice, and that's my jam, and that's what I stand for. I 100% do not believe that it's possible for you to have a successful private practice unless it's fully and truly aligned with your purpose, your vision, and your values. So that's what I'm all about. And I love helping people with this stuff. I'm working with 5 clients at the moment. They're social workers, physio, and psychologists. And I have a group. It's called the Private Practice Mentorship Group. It's also full of health professionals. And every single day, I get so much pleasure from seeing all of the progress and hearing all of the stories and seeing the changes that people experience, the shifts and the transformations as a result of trying out some of this sort of stuff. But I guess in order for it to work, you have to have a starting point, don't you? And when I was preparing for today's episode, one of the things I came across was this really cool quote. It's not mine, I can't claim it, I don't know where it's from, but it says, "Faith begins as an experiment and ends as an experience." That's faith begins as an experiment and ends as an experience. And I thought, how does that apply to what we're doing here? And I thought to myself, well, I love manifesting and law of attraction. And I believe that your success in your business is going to come from your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, as well as your behaviors. And so maybe it's that faith, that belief that we have that starts as an experiment. I mean, you have to try it out at some point, don't you? You have to be willing to consider something from a different angle, to try something from a new perspective. And I guess that is the experiment part. And then when you take action and you try it, what happens is you have the experience, and I think experience is the greatest teacher. And that's why I have my private practice group as a coaching group. It's not a traditional coaching group, by the way. It's not like we jump on once a week and we all Zoom and see each other and everybody gets 5 minutes. It's not like that at all. It's we don't do any of that, actually. What we do is, people post questions, and instead of everybody else giving them the answer, what we all do is try and coach that person to coming up with the answer for themselves, because it's that experience that's going to lead to your growth. It's, you don't leave feeling overwhelmed. You leave feeling like you learned something, and that's the growth. And that's the beautiful thing about being in groups where people get it and people want that same transformation as you. But one of the things that came up a couple of times this week was I have my own little bugbear. Now, you know me, I'm a glass is half full person. Most of the time, I 100% believe that things are working out for me. But even so, I do have my own life experiences where I do find myself reacting to things and having my own little sort of mini meltdowns. But that's okay. I'm getting better with those, and you will too. But one of my little bugbears is people like practice owners that don't stand for anything. Now, the reason that this is a bugbear of mine is because when you don't stand for something, it contradicts what we're trying to do in terms of getting your practice into a place of greater alignment with your soul purpose. What I think happens is that we look around at everybody else's practice and we think, oh, she's really successful. She's turning over 7 figures. She's got a 7-figure private practice. Oh, I better do it the way that she does. And they will go and do other courses. They will go and have other coaching and things like that. And they'll come to me and they'll say, oh, look, I've done all of this with industry leaders and it didn't work. And I don't know why. And I'll tell you why. It's because that person made their fortune or created their success by being themselves. And you're not. You will never be that person. So trying to emulate, trying to mimic, trying to copy, trying to use them as a model just isn't going to work for you, because I believe that your success comes from you lining up with your soul's purpose. You know, I was saying to somebody this week that she needed to have a strong point of view. So many times I hear from private practice owners that they really want to be turning over more money, or they really want to be broadening their audience. Is it about my SEO, Brooklyn? Is that what I need to do? Or maybe I just need to revamp my website, or maybe I just need to send more newsletters. It's not about that. It's not about that at all. I think a lot of the time what's going on is a couple of things. Number one, you don't know what you don't know. Number two, you look to what other people are doing and you think, because you're not doing that, that's what's caused you to not be successful, however you define success for yourself and for your business. And so then you think you better start copying what everybody else is doing so that then you can have that success. But guess what? That still doesn't work out. And you're just out of alignment. When people come to me and I say, hey, what's the vision for your practice? They'll say, oh, I want to turn over 7 figures, Brooklyn, and I want to have a one-stop shop. Everybody says to me that they want to have a one-stop shop, and I get it. I was that person as well. You know, all you've got to do is go back through my Facebook feed to like 2016, 2017, and I was that girl. I was like, I'm going to create this practice, and you know, I was really embracing this whole idea of you know, doing what felt aligned with me, and at the time nobody else was doing it. What I wanted to do was create this practice. So I got a practice that had like 4 or 5 treatment rooms. I'm still in it now. The lease is up at the end of the year, thank goodness. But at the time it seemed like a good idea. I was evolving, okay. And I thought to myself, okay, what do I really want to do? And so when I got this building, it was a choice of one of 2 buildings. Now, I really liked the first building, but what I did was I asked all of the clients. I did Facebook videos. I got them to vote on which building they liked the best, and I wanted to know why. And they chose the building that I thought was really ugly, and I didn't feel any connection with this building, but they liked it. My clients liked it because it had on-site parking, which is a premium in a low socioeconomic area where you've got to pay anywhere from $6 to $12 an hour for parking. So they wanted it for that reason. They wanted it because it had no steps, so it was going to be really easy for people that had prams and, you know, things like that to get themselves in and out of the practice. And they really liked it because it had you know, big reception area, big waiting area. So, okay, I get this practice and it was horrible. Like, I just walked in there and it was like grey, and it had all these really ridiculous kind of like little half desks. I can't even describe it. It was about the size of the length of your arm. It was just this platform sticking out of a wall in each treatment room, and that was meant to be the desk. And, you know, it was just, ugh. Anyway, within a space of a few weeks, I turned it into a really beautiful, beautiful space. We painted it like a really, I love bohemian styling. So it was all done like this really beautiful sage green. It had a great big, as I said, you can still see the pictures. They're online and they're on my Google page and everything. This great big picture, it's almost as big as the wall itself, of a rainforest with a path on it. And I put that behind the sofa in reception. I had all natural wood floors throughout the building. I filled it up with incense, with my crystals, with selenite, with dream catchers, with, you know, all spiritual type of stuff. Hemp rugs throughout the building, you know, making sure when people came to the practice that they had organic teas, like a selection of teas that they could choose from, organic snacks that they could choose from, meditations that they could listen to using the headphones. So I created this space. And anyway, I had all these empty rooms and I was thinking, what am I going to do? And so I thought, I'm going to sit down and journal about my ideal practice. And that's what I did. And what came up for me was that I wanted to have a practice that would allow for people to come and get the type of help they needed that would feed their mind, body and soul. And so I advertised and I got a hypnotherapist, I had a dietitian, I had a Reiki healer, I had an acupuncturist, I had an aromatherapist, I had a lady coming in doing like oracle cards at one point. She was in like once a month doing that for people because, again, it was a client-driven practice, and we had these questionnaires in reception all the time asking clients what they wanted, and there was like a really high need for that. So we had that for a little while. And then we had masseuse coming, and what else? We had naturopath, then we had nutritionists. So we had all these different people coming through. And what happened was I was loving it. The practice was growing and growing and growing because we were attracting all these new clients, clients that loved all of this stuff. And what we found was that once a client had come in and they were coming in for psychology, but they saw that people were going in for other treatments, like for bark flower remedies, or they were going in for a massage, or they were going in for sound bathing, or they were going in for social work, or they were going in for acupuncture or something. Our clients were saying, hey, I also want to have some of that. And so what happened was, instead of just coming in for one service, our clients started coming in for multiple services. And from there, they started telling their friends about it. And so the practice grew very quickly, and it meant all sorts of changes for me as a practice owner. But the thing was, I stepped into that space of creating the practice that felt really in tune with what I wanted. And so I was loving it. I was lit up. I was so excited to go to work every single day. My clients were so full of love and so full of warmth and so full of joy. And my team were, supporting each other, giving each other treatment so that they could understand how to market that treatment to their clients and all of this sort of stuff. So it was a really beautiful space that we created, to the point where the team were coming in really early. Sometimes I'd stay back really late. We'd get dinner in and talk about how wonderful our day was. We made this really, really beautiful space. And what happened was I started sharing that on social media in some groups that I was in for allied health professionals, and I got bombarded with negativity from people who were saying I was at risk of bringing my profession of psychology into disrepute by associating my practice with naturopaths and dietitians because they weren't professionals like psychologists were, and all of this sort of stuff. And I thought to myself at the time, what the H is going on here? And I'm sure those posts still exist. All I would need to do is perhaps like have a look back for them. Not that I want to, because it's bad energy and I don't want to bring that into my world at the moment. But I just remember being quite taken aback because I was loving it so much. I expected my colleagues were going to love it so much. And so when they didn't, it really threw me for a curveball. And anyway, again, like with integrating spiritual practice with private practice, you all know the story about how that unfolded with my colleagues. I was not very popular, but that's okay. This happened. And so all I did was, I guess I reflected for a little while, and then I just thought, well, blow it. Like, I'm really happy, and my clients are happy, and my team's happy, and we're all happy, and we're just going to ride this out and see what happens. And so that's what we did. And because we had that strong point of view around wanting to be a space that was, services were driven by what clients were demanding. It was that kind of space. It was a space where all the services that were being offered and developed were in alignment with my vision for the practice and how I wanted the practice to go. For that reason, we just attracted so many clients, and we built up a beautiful reputation for ourselves in the local area very, very quickly. And anyway, I credit the growth of my practice to me being able to have that strong voice. There are other practices in my area that don't have that strong voice, and this became really apparent when we were talking with doctors, and we would ask doctors, hey, we'd call them up and we'd say, thank you so much for the referral, blah, blah, blah. We'll keep you posted about so-and-so's progress and everything. And hey, I just want to ask, why us? Why did you choose our practice to refer this client to? And a lot of the time the doctors would say, well, you're the guys that do this, you're the guys that do that. And they would say to us, other practices just kind of say they do everything. So, you know, we'll refer to them when you're full. And so I thought that was really interesting because the doctors don't know who to refer to. Referrers don't know who to refer to when you don't stand for something. So when you're having your private practice and you're saying, okay, I need more clients, where am I going to get them from? The thing is, you're never going to get them if you don't stand for something. You have to have an opinion about something, and you have to step into that space. And I think when you do, that's when all those other things around imposter syndrome will just kind of disappear. So that's what I really want to take home, or get you guys to take home today. You know, this is a thing, like everybody has their own unique story. You have your own unique purposes. And so for that very reason, no two practices will ever be the same. But when you're stuck in ego, you don't want to mess it up. You look to others as models and you think that if you want to be successful like them, then you have to build a practice that resembles theirs, that looks just the same as theirs. But here's the thing, guys, their practices are successful because that person stepped into their purpose, okay? Your practice is already successful. Think about quantum physics and think about the reality that all possible versions of you and your practice exist at the moment, even that one that's successful in the way that you define success. Your practice is already successful. You know that. But in order to reveal it, you need to release that curtain that you're holding on to of fear. Maybe you need to release the fear of judgment. Maybe you need to release the fear of failure. Maybe you need to release the fear of success. Whatever it is, you need to release that fear so that you can allow the practice to unfold in its own time, in its own way, on purpose and with intention. Now, this is the other thing. Some people come to me and they say, hey, I've been doing what you've been saying. It's been 2 weeks and I don't have any new referrals. Well, guess what? You're not going to have new referrals in 2 weeks because it takes time. For marketing, you need 75 touch points before somebody's going to remember who you are, and they need to know, like, and trust you before they purchase a service with you, whether it's a counselling session, a coaching session, a social work session, a naturopath session. Doesn't matter. They're not going to book in with somebody online who they've never ever met before. They need to feel that they can relate to you, that there's some kind of connection there. And a really simple way that I remember this is I love fruit trees, okay? In my backyard, I have a Tangelo tree, a kaffir lime, I have Eureka lemon, I have a pink grapefruit, I have, what else have I got over there? A nectarine, a peach, I've got the mandarin tree, 2 orange trees, a plum tree, and I have a passion fruit vine. And here's the thing, I can't just like plant those trees one day and expect them to be abundantly laden with ripened fruit the next day. I know it's going to take time. That tree has to develop and grow. It's got to move through seasons, okay? And so does your practice. Your practice has to grow and it has to develop. It's not going to bear fruit within a week of you shifting the way that you're doing things. So you need to be patient and give it time. This is a process. It's a really gentle unfolding. It's a really beautiful and measured expansion into all that your practice can be for you and for the clients that you want to serve. When you realize and accept these 2 things, the rest is just going to come really organically and easily and naturally for you. And this is what I mean when I'm talking to you guys about alignment. This is also manifesting. This is manifesting your own practice. It's like, I think Gabby Bernstein calls it like your inner guidance system or your ING. Esther Hicks calls it an inner guidance system. Other people call it intuition. Some people might call it your consciousness or your higher self or source or whatever you want to call it. But deep down, You want to create a practice that allows you perhaps to go with the flow, allows you to easily support yourself financially, allows you to choose how you want to spend your time and with whom and where and all those sorts of things. But the change in your practice is going to come from within you. If you can recognize and accept that intuition, that higher self, that true self, that version of you deep inside that's more true than the version of you in your current practice, then you can also see and acknowledge the disparity between them. And once you see that, you can make the outer version of you and the inner version of you become one. Then you're not going to have the feeling that you're not doing what you want, that the practice isn't how you want it to be. In fact, it's going to be the opposite. You'll know and you'll feel that you're creating the practice that you're born to create. And guys, that's what alignment is. It's bringing that external, exterior, ego-driven version of you, that, you know, the way you're showing up now, the way you're marketing now, the way you're operating now, the way you're creating your business now, into alignment with that version of you on the inside that says, well, actually, you know, I really kind of wanted it to be like this. That's what alignment is. And it's through that alignment that you're going to have a practice that embodies your story, your purpose, your vision, your point of view. And that's what's going to be the key to the success that you experience in your business. It is not doing somebody else's course and learning how they do things for their business. It's not. Stop looking outside. The answers are within you. And you need to start allowing yourself to listen to yourself and trust that you know what's right for your business. When you have your unique story and you understand your purpose and you understand that everything's going to feel so much better in the practice when you're doing what you feel called to do and you're letting go of fear and all those sorts of things, everything else is going to just unfold naturally and beautifully. That's the most powerful thing that I can share with you. But it's a process, guys. And this is one of the things that I really, really, really love talking about. You know, there are so many other mistakes that people make with private practice. You know, this hustle, like practice owners getting into hustle and they're thinking, oh, I've got to be busier. I've got to be busier. If I'm not working hard, then I'm not going to have the practice I want. I'm not going to make the money that I want. Or they're doing all of the things, you know. They're so afraid that nobody else is going to do it the way they would, or the way it needs to be done, or the way they want it to be done, that they are unwilling to relinquish control of anything. And so not only are they seeing 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 clients every day, they're then also doing all of the things on top of that because they won't let go. They're going to burn out. And they delude themselves by saying, oh no, I know how to take care of my energy, I'm just going to pull back. It doesn't work like that. That's not sustainable. You can take your foot off the accelerator periodically, sure, but you're never going to be operating at full capacity when you do that. Okay? And the other thing that I see is people want fast answers, fast results. Well, guess what? The faster you can get your practice into alignment with who you are and what you really feel called to do and the way you really want to have a practice, that's when you're going to speed up the results that you're looking for in your private practice. And I know because I've done it, I've been there, and now I help practice owners just like you do this. I help them with one-to-one coaching and I help them in our group. The group's only $97 a month. They get all the help that they need to get into alignment so that they can create the practice that feels soul-driven, that feels lighter and easier. They can exhale, they do less, they make more. All you've got to do is go and check out some of the posts in that group. They're already making more money and it's only been 4 weeks. They're already doing less and it's only been 4 weeks, you know. It's kind of a no-brainer. If you want the help is here. What's stopping you from getting it? And if you're not wanting sort of group stuff, that's fine too. Go and get help from somebody, but not somebody that's going to coach you in their ways and give you their tools and give you their processes. You need a coach that's going to help you uncover these things for yourself. You're going to have the experience of creating these things for yourself. And it's going to be a really beautiful experience because it's how you're going to grow. Okay, you're going to grow because they're being born from your soul, from your spirit, from the things that are meaningful to you, that align with who you are on a soul level, right? That's a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. And I would love to help you with that, but I'm not taking on new clients until the 1st of January. If you need help in the meantime, sure, join the group or reach out and I can put you on the waiting list for the July intake for coaching. I only take 5 people, but I can absolutely put you on the waiting list for that. So I hope that this episode has helped you understand that you are enough. Your purpose is enough. It's your story that's going to set you apart from the other practices. And it's your story that's going to resonate with the clients that you want to be working with. But they can't find you if you're being vanilla and you're copying everybody else's model and you're buying everybody else's processes and you're buying everybody else's tools and you're buying everybody else's training. It's not about that. You are starting to wake up now to the reality that it's more than okay to find your own way, to have the business that feels right for you, that feels aligned with your values, that embodies all of the things that are important to you. You are enough. The answers are within you. Find someone that's going to work with you that will help you uncover these things for yourself. Okay? That's where the transformation and the growth is going to be. All right, guys, I mentioned the monthly mentorship group, and I've mentioned you can absolutely get on the wait list for the coaching. It's not till July. I would love to hear from you. I hope that this resonated. I hope that it was really, really helpful. I want to thank you so much for listening. And if there was any grain of truth, if you had an aha moment or a light bulb moment, please, please, please leave me a review on iTunes, because when you do that, it helps my message be heard by more people, and you'll help me achieve an income goal that I have for myself this year. So I would be so appreciative if you do that for me and leave that review. Thank you so much, guys. Have a beautiful weekend. I will talk to you on Sunday. Bye.